Welcome to this episode of Been There, Done That. My name is Patricia Baronowski-Schneider, CEO of Pristine Advisors, investor relations, public relations, and media relations and marketing firm with over 3 decades of experience working in a wide variety of niches across the globe. In talking about investor relations, basically you have a listed company that's listed on the stock exchange that's reaching out to their current investors, retail and institutional, analyst brokers, but also to potential investors and, people who might be interested in investing in them. Or you could be an entrepreneur that's looking for investors for a startup company. Whatever the case may be, you have to really, the whole part of investor relations, it's connected with marketing, where you have to have a great story to tell. But that's where the being creative comes in. And that's the one thing I love most about what I do, is just being creative. So say, for example, I was working with this other company. So this firm was actually an ag tech company, but a vertical farm sort of thing. And one thing that I found unique with them is that they did terraponics, which was different than hydroponics, aquaponics. So anyway, when I got to listen to them, they were looking for investors to start up their company. And the one thing that I found unique was that as they're talking to me, and I tend to do this a lot, my mind is already going 50 miles an hour trying to think, wow, I could do this, I could do that. So one of the things that I found was, okay, so they're doing ag tech, so that means that the food would be available 365 days a year here. And you don't no longer have to say, okay, it's not a vet, because it's an enclosed environment. That's how they were doing it, in an enclosed environment in any climate. So it's like you can't say, okay, it's too cold, this food doesn't grow here, or it's too hot, we don't have, whatever the case may be, it's always going to be available. So I'm thinking, right away, I'm thinking, okay, well, that saves the planet, because it's, there's no more having to have stuff shipped international, because now it's always going to be available here. So now you have investors, in ESG and things like that. So I started thinking that. And then then the fact was that being it was going to be grown in an enclosed environment and not in soil. So when you see a lot of things about salmonella and pesticides and whatnot, it wouldn't be applicable here. So I was thinking, okay, well, that could be also, healthy. So when you have companies that are constantly in the news about, salmonella and food poisoning and, pesticides, food shipped from other countries, whatever the case may be, and now it's all over the news. Now we can kind of highlight that would never happen with us, and here's why. So that was one, just always trying to be creative. Then they were doing some sort of technology where it would be recyclable energy. And so I'm thinking, okay, well, those would be good for investors in that specific niche. So trying to constantly think of various ways to promote this company to either current investors, if that was for this company, or potential investors, whatever the case may be, you just have to kind of be a little creative. One other thing was terraponics was not something that is well known. So I found a lot of industry reports for hydroponics, aquaponics. There were none for terraponics, so I got to speak to some of these companies and educated them a bit on why they should include terraponics, and ironically, they agreed to do that. So now that gives you a little, highlight, because you'll be listed in these reports, and now it's something that's bringing to light something that people really didn't know about. So again, how do you, pitch this to reporters? So like I was getting statistics, like, it said the organic food market is going to be worth $272 billion by 2027. Okay, well, that's huge. So as an investor, that catches my attention. Then we're saying, with people with, heart disease and all sorts of, illness, having healthy food, easily accessible at any given moment, how to bring that up, to light to people. But again, using statistics. Yeah, so another, statistics, I had said, the transportation sector is one of the largest contributors to anthropogenic U.S. greenhouse gas emissions. So here, transportation accounted for 29% of the total emissions in 2019. So again, showing how this would help to alleviate a lot of that for those who are investing in that goal of saving the planet. And then especially with COVID, it was basically saying how everybody wants to be the healthiest that they can be, and how here's another opportunity to help that by eating better, healthier local food that's free of pesticides, and things like that. the title of my post says, been there, done that. I can assure you that in my 35 years of working in the industry, I've done it all, and I've learned from many mistakes. I've learned so much, and I can help you do what works best to get your story in front of the audience that matters most to you. Contact me to learn more about my story. You can find out more about me on my website at www.pristineadvisors.com, and that's EDVISERS.com. You can also contact me by email at pbaronowski@pristineadvisors.com. You can reach me by telephone at 631-756-2.